Well, hopefully, if you watched last week's episode, I wasn't even in the recording, so hopefully you can see me in this one. That would have been funny. Just
Make sure I'm looking good in case.
no, I reckon we've got it sorted this time. Um, but yeah, last week Emma and I did an episode on homeschooling, and this week, um, yeah, we're going to talk about, I mean, a lot of things, but the core, Emma's hook was the progressive, how progressive feminism is ruining our happiness. It's a good hook.
Is progressive
Oh,
feminism
it
ruining our happiness?
is progressive feminism, buddy. We just got child here.
Because we're always in the inquiry and the curiosity, aren't we? And I can already hear all the women that are like, you have the life you have because of feminism. I'm like, yeah, I know, and I know. Absolutely. I'm so grateful we can vote. I'm so grateful we can be progressive trad wives that have our own businesses at home. And like, I know, I know. I love you. Thank you.
I don't know if I'm that grateful for voting.
Aren't you?
This
As
woman,
a woman.
this woman I know, I really love following her. Her name is Namaste Moore, and she's just really questioned, these conversations that we're having too, that we're not saying this is truth. We're just sharing what's alive for us. We're sharing what excites us. We're sharing what the obsession of our brains are thinking about. Um, and she did a post, and my little toddler does not want to be here. Hey. She did a post saying, if your husband supported you with the abundance of financial support and the other support, and you never had to work again, like you never had to work again, but that means that you didn't have to vote, would you choose it? And I was like, fuck yeah. Like I actually don't vote. I actually don't vote. I have not voted for the last, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's like I don't care or what is it?
Yeah, I guess voting to me is about the right to choose, the right to a voice. Because I know that there are, like, I have friends who are so politically minded. It's a genius of theirs. And I think, imagine a world where they didn't have that right.
Yeah.
And also simultaneously, I would trade it too, because I trust in Justin's leadership. And if it meant that he had to vote for our family and he was in the lead, and I was like, because I was just thinking about feminism too, and thinking the greatest feeling ever come over my body when I become Justin's wife.
Mm.
And like that's another thing, like this whole story of we don't need that. It's just a piece of paper, it's patriarchal. And I'm also like, I don't fucking agree. It's just everything changed for me
Mm.
when I was in that traditional space. So yeah, maybe actually if I looked into some of the foundations of it, maybe I wouldn't agree with the whole movement. And maybe it was not as progressive as we thought. And maybe the issue was never the lack of rights we have or had. And this leads into what we wanted to talk about. Maybe it was about the dynamics we held within our relationships
Mm.
because we control what we don't trust. And when we didn't have that trust in our relationships between man and woman in intimacy, then we fought to change external parameters in society.
Yeah.
And really, it was all just another grab for control because in here, we didn't have that.
Mm. Hold on, I'm just gonna pause it. Go.
Oh, I'm just crying because Kezia is just such a beautiful mum. And you didn't get to see the way she just parented her little Bruno. And I mean, I wish it was recording because my Lord, that was just um yeah, so the tears, Kizzy just asked me what's alive for me right now because I was crying watching her mothering Bruno. And She said, I'm here. I hear you. I'm listening. And she was holding a little boy, and it made me stop and take a breath. I'd been distracting while Kezia was mothering. And then I just decided to be in the space with Keys and co-regulate with her and Bruno. And tears come up. And I was remembering that all I ever wanted to be was a mum. That was the dream. All I ever wanted to be was a mum. But I remember not distinctly when, but I remember as an overall thing many times over that saying that what I wanted to be was a mum got nowhere near the accolades and the recognition and the feedback of saying, I want to be a teacher that changes and revolutionizes the education system. I remember saying that to an optometrist, and I remember that optometrist walking out to my mum and telling me how incredible of a daughter she had, because fuck, I said the smartest sounding big dreamed thing ever. Or saying I wanted to be a prime minister when I grew up, and all that God, I wanted all these plans. Like when I articulated all these grand big plans, the feedback people gave me was just like, oh my gosh, who is she? And when I said I wanted to be a mum, what I got met with was, really? Is that it? Is that all? Or just, oh, okay. Often not even anything, just like that. Oh, the giggle, the little. But then I was just watching Keys, and I have the privilege of watching so many of my friends mother, mother their children, not just be a mom, but mother them. And there is nothing, nothing worth more recognition than those moments and what we build in another human being because of our presence.
Mm.
And I just said to Keys, I'm like, the other thing that's alive is the invisibility of being a mum.
Yeah.
And I use that word because in Gene Keys, we talk about the shadow of pride, the gift of artfulness, and it's the city of invisibility. And pride wants to be seen, it wants to be known, but the city of that shadow is the invisibility of having an impact without anyone knowing, without ever getting accolades for it, without it ever being directly apportioned back to you. And isn't that motherhood?
Oh man. You want more smoothie?
Oh, were you really hungry, Bruno?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was saying with Keys at the beginning, and then if Keys needs to get Bruno some more food, that I had a really big breakthrough on Monday. I always tell a story, if you've ever followed any of my journey, about my dad committing suicide and how that was actually an entire crime scene because he shot himself at home while only my brother and I were home, and it had to be investigated. We had to go into witness statements to make sure that there hadn't been any foul play or any involvement in that. And obviously all was cleared, but the police had to follow a protocol of making sure they got statements and they cross-referenced them. We had to go off into dark rooms alone and be recorded. And I don't know if it was just my 13-year-old brain thinking that there was follow-on protocol and that's the story I built. But for 20 years, I have told the story that police made me get counseling after that capital T trauma, that was a part of their next step of their protocol. Anyway, the other day I'm trying to write this information out and I ring my mum just to clarify and fact check. Like, actually, was it 3 or 5 was what I was fact checking. And I ring her and she goes, what do you mean the police said you had to do counseling? I'm like, yeah, because I had to do that. And she's like, no, like they didn't. And I'm like, well, why? How did I get counseling? And my mum said, well, I organized it for you. 20 years. That's just one thing. 20 years I have told the story that the reason I am the woman I am, doing the work I do in the world, being this woman that supports women, raises the child the way I do, lives the way I do, is because the police, these men, the police made me get counseling and it became the foundation of who I am and my existence. But it was my fucking mum. So for 20 years, she's been invisible of her impact.
Mm.
That's just one thing.
Yeah.
And yet we just don't hold value for it, do we? Fuck me.
The perfection in it all.
Yeah. Because Keys and I want to jump on this call today and talk about, I mean, Keys, I'd love you to jump in because Keys jumped in with a voice note to me this morning about this is what's alive and this is what I'd like to chat to. So I'd take the mic, Keys.
And yeah, the perfection of it all, the perfection of being with our children at home and trying to manage, like just fucking life and my children. And but yeah, I've been in the real contemplation as I'm in a void in my own life and my own where I'm going and my own innovation. And I've been watching a little bit of stuff, I touched a little bit on before around the whole um that maybe the over progressive feminism isn't actually empowering women. And there's a guy I follow, Charlie Kirk. He's quite, I think, right wing. He's an American guy. He's Christian. He's been just talking about stats and stuff. And he says that in America, women over 30 are the most depressed they've ever been. I think this is statistics. I don't know the exact statistics. If you want to look, you'd have to find it. We're not journalists, we're not reporting. It's
We're just two mums inquiring.
exactly. Okay. This is not what we're a stand for now. We're just inquiring. Um, we're not having debates on fucking feminism.
Feminism.
Please, we're not. Um, but he talks about the most depressed they've ever been, and that the women that are the most happiest in America are women who have 3 children or more over 30. And it was very interesting to me. And he was doing another interview with a woman, and she was talking about how, when we go to college, you go to college in America, there's information sessions on being, a doctor and a lawyer and a journalist and a this and a that, but there's no one's coming in. Betty fucking Crocker, housewife, trad wife, is not coming in to talk about being a mother. Our brightest young women of our time. And like you mentioned before, like our brightest young woman, yet when the path of motherhood, for those that choose it, who have been indoctrinated into this way of success, and the only way we have success is through this path of which, our current society, and because of feminism, which now has allowed us to vote and have jobs and careers and equal rights and all these things. But when it comes to, and my current like strong belief systems that I'm holding is that the biologically, the biology of us as humans is to procreate. It is the most natural thing that our bodies want to do. And this is not to take away from people not choosing to do it, but I do, whoo, spicy alert.
We're in the inquiry. We're in the inquiry.
Spicy alert. I do actually believe that you are going against your natural biology by not choosing to procreate. The naturalness of your biology. And that this is just my inquiry. This is just from talking to my friends. This is just from being in the inquiry, is that once you get to this like 40 age gap, I was talking to my friend the other night about it. I'm like, I got to this point, and especially in my self-development journey and my journey, where I was like, I'm so goddamn sick of myself. Sick of myself. Like, I'm like, I don't care about me anymore. I've done the self-development. I've done this. I'm sick of myself.
Fucking amen.
Like, there's no more healing or this or learning to do. And I'm sick of myself. And I think up until the age of like 40, it's kind of cute. And then it's not cute. And I do feel a lot of worry for, and that's a projection, don't care, for people that do not choose to have children and the loneliness epidemic that will hit these people. Because right now, your 40s, 50s, it's still kind of cute. It's not going to be cute when you're 70 and you have nothing, because the things that society has programmed us into, which is our career, which is our, success and our accolades, very soon those things no longer fucking mean anything. They are not giving us that, which is this wrestle that you, so many women around us are really battling with, this wrestle of like, "Ugh, I've tasted the success. I've now got the family, but there's still this narrative that I see everywhere online. There's fucking bloody bitches making, $1 million months. And I'm like, oh my God, I should have that. And I'm not good enough if I don't. And it's, is question inquiry, this progressive feminism actually causing a deep amount of unhappiness? Because is choice actually good? If you go to, there's been so many studies done. There's a happiness documentary, and they said as long as your core value, like of your roof over your head and basic needs met, the happiest countries in the world are countries they all still live in the same culture, the same tribe, where they're dancing. You see those African people just smiling, just living their best lives because they don't have choice. They don't know anything else. We've got so much fucking choice as women. We've got to be, this is the standard of fucking man that I have to have. He has to be like this. And, you're 40 and you're still preaching your fucking standards. So, where is this journey has been breaking me open, because I'm like, I was talking to a woman about today. I'm like, far out. Just like, am I worthy? Because all I'm really, not all, but I'm pouring into most of my energy into my family, into my children, growing them, raising them, feeding them, having emotional connection with them. And most mothers who have to choose career, they're not doing that. They are putting their kids in daycare, 4 or 5 days a week. And this is not to shame women. But and the reason I'm really being a stand in this, because I know that all women who are in that journey wrestle with it. They are wrestling with their own guilt around it, their own guilt, their own frustration. If I don't stay in the corporate world, I'm going to lose this. But if I keep my kids in daycare, this is not to shame any woman. This has been like, this is a real thing.
This is seeing those women, seeing the absolute chronic tension of woman, of her natural biology, and then societal's programming.
Yeah. And I think we touched on it last week, and they're like, yeah, but I can't. And I'm like, I can't because I've got, again, society's programming of keeping up with the Joneses and making sure that I saw a quote the other day and I was like, "Oof." And it was like, it's okay. We actually should stay for our kids. And I was like, yeah, we should stay for our kids. That is a valid 100% reason to stay. Because families and homes without fathers, no, we should fucking stay. That should be a reason more than anything is to stay. And I pray over every relationship that is feeling the turmoil and the I don't know how, like pray over peace for their family. Seriously. And that their soul and God shows that person for the exact reason and that healing is possible. And even if the dynamic is that they're not in the same relationship anymore, that peace is possible still.
Yeah, Justin and I had that conversation with our separation and then our getting back together, and then just and Keys and I, we've had this conversation. I know this is a bit of a pathway we've ended here, but this is it. We just want to have these conversations and allow you into them because we know that people are thinking this. We know women are wrestling with these thoughts. We know that we're asking bigger questions because we're looking for a bigger playing field to be on because we've really narrowed it for ourselves. And I know that the whole, like, I left because I was like, I'm not staying for my child because I'm miserable. And Justin and I had a pact when we got together that we wouldn't stay if we were unhappy. Lol. Oh, hey. Um, and I like the staying for the kids. Justin and I had the conversation about it too. I do not agree in staying for the kids where you stay in the dysfunction.
Okay.
That's not while Keys is tending to her babes. Um, I don't believe in abuse. I don't stand for it. And I'm not saying stay, where I sit, it's not staying for the kids. And what if you had children because there is possibility for the relationship of you two people to find peace? And, like he's saying, praying for peace for a relationship. From a Gene Keys perspective, we enter the Venus sequence when we're talking about relationship. We're currently walking women through it at the moment. And so much of the Venus stream inquiry is how often relationships end because we don't want to see the pattern inside ourselves. And that it's actually not that the relationship needs to end, it's that the pattern needs to end, the shadow needs to end, that life doesn't get it wrong in who it brings together. And a bit of an idea of whether that relationship is at its natural ending or not is how much rupture and drama is involved in its ending. And I remember reading that, thinking there were some relationships that just to fill Keys in really quickly, you'll be watching this being like, I just watched that. I was just talking about how in Gene Keys, we talk about with the Venus sequence, how many relationships end prematurely. And then we just start another relationship that actually has the same patterns in it. And that a real clear sign for whether we have ended that relationship prematurely is how much rupture and drama surrounds the ending. It's usually a really good sign that it actually was a premature ending and that you're just going to find that pattern in the next relationship. If, however, that ending ends and it is a clean thing and it's got like nothing is ever just all fantastic, but it's like a clean close, it's a pretty good indicator that was natural. That wasn't a premature. And I think of that with my ex before Justin. We ended and he just ended and I just never saw him again. We lived in the same town. People would say he was around, but we just didn't. And then other relationships I've ended prematurely have just been months and months and months and months of drama. I mean, I know that happened with Justin until we finally went, what if we're just going to meet this everywhere? What if we met it with us and then we're married? And it's totally changed our relationship. So my thing is not don't stay for me. I agree that we should stay for the kids, that it is a valid enough reason to stay. my deepening into that is not just staying and staying in the dysfunction,
Yeah, 100%.
staying because they matter enough and so much, and you matter enough and so much to meet your suffering. So we don't just keep perpetuating it with another lover in another home with more kids.
And I think that's where we're coming in or where I'm coming in my viewpoint is like it's not just stay and not deal with it.
Mm.
It's stay and like be willing to meet the suffering. Be truly willing to meet the suffering and the patterns and the generational stuff that is happening. Because yeah, it's just going to happen in another partnership. And yeah, I just feel I know there's been I've shared these opinions online and I've got pushback, and my
Mm.
sister comes from a relationship, and it's just like but the when I say these things and it's for anyone who is in an experience where that has not happened and it's I mean, I don't even know if I believe in too far gone. I actually don't. I believe in all possibilities, like literally miracles. Um, but and then, the inquiry is my desire for relationships moving forward. My desire for like, I've even been contemplating, me, I've been teaching self-empowerment to women for so long, full self-expression. And I do think there's an important piece in us finding our voices. But I've been really even just contemplating like the choices that I made of just sleeping with all these men and, you know, at the core of it, there was a deep little like if I hadn't have lost my mum, if I had amazing support around me, if I was, would I have actually gone down that path? Probably not, and I have no idea what my life would look like now. You have no idea what your life looked like now if we hadn't have experienced these huge things. But yeah, it saddens me as a culture to for us to see that there is no holding of community and tribe when we move through, and there is definitely people doing it, to not say there is none, but that is the big core desire for me, and just like, when you're that to have a community gaze over you when you and your family are moving through challenging times, to really be there for one another because the challenging times are going to come. And I feel like women's empowerment, in freeing ourselves and whatever all I keep hearing, I've been watching The Secret Lives of Mormons. I don't know if I talked about this on last one or maybe it was just to you.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, Secret Lives of Mormons are these progressive Mormons who have kind of like started a huge TikTok and they've kind of become famous and now got their own reality show. So they're in the Mormon church, but they're calling themselves progressive Mormons.
Hmm.
But based that like the absolute just like, we should be able to wear what we want and but then they're all breaking up and having divorces and because now the women are and it's just like, is this progressive? I don't know if it is. Is it actually empowering, or are we leaving families more broken because we we're leaving families more broken because we're like, what my expression matters and what me being met, and then all the women, you watch the behind the scenes of the show and the women are all just like, yeah, he's an asshole and he's this and just reaffirming because he's not showing up for me like this and being like this for me and I'm like, how much is that actually happening where the woman just decides to leave because she's seen some post on Instagram that men should be like this. You're very silent. You think,
Oh, so my brain was like, there's a gene key. I was trying to think of it that talks about when women start to try and play in a men's world. and
Yeah.
how it just leaves a woman exhausted. I can't remember if it's the weakness shadow or it's the dislocation shadow. I was trying to find the exact sentence around it. And I was, two things. I was thinking, we can't buy wisdom, it's earned. And that's the absolute privilege of the conversation that we're able to have right now, is that we've lived an opposing experience. We've lived a varied experience. We've lived a rich tapestry of experience, which is giving us um, material to put into this conversation. We've experienced sleeping around and ultimate sexual expression and liberation. We've experienced wearing whatever the fuck we want. We've experienced leaving relationships, staying new, like we've experienced it all, which is why we can have this. So I'm just noting it is an extremely privileged conversation we are having. And I'm also noting that that does not detract our right to change our mind and decide that with that experience, we're moving forward and deciding that actually all of that choice doesn't serve us.
Mm.
And that's what's making me think about this whole progressive movement and just what we do as humans to each other and to ourselves, which is determine another person's existence through our own lens and experience, and then make a person wrong for changing their mind without knowing what evidence they have to change their mind. And then we caveat our own experience. Like I will not encourage my daughter to be sexually promiscuous. And I thought I would have that conversation with her of sexual empowerment. But Kezia said something earlier today, which was about so much. What was I've read? What is it? Kezia. She wrote, empowerment is so much about the I. And I agree. And I think I can only take us so far. And that's where we undermine mother, because mother's role is we focused.
Mm.
A mother as the pulse of the family is we focused. When we talk about empowerment with sexual liberation, it's I focused. It's not we focused. It's not thinking about the energetic containment of what it means to be the feminine, the possibility of procreation with that, and then the effect on that woman's psychological fortitude and ability to continue to be the pulse of her family when, if so, that arrives. I mean, my mother, I was having a conversation with mum the other day. She was 16 when she was pregnant and became a mum
Mm.
and raised a family. And I'm sharing that because I mean, we went from a society of taboo where we weren't empowered, we weren't allowed to, it was wronged. And then we had the freedom to do it. And I think we're finding a harmony of there is a consequence and a cost to everything.
Yeah.
There is like Gene Key says, there is a karmic imprint and ripple of every single choice. And until we move beyond empowerment being about I and we start thinking about the evolution of we, and the impact of every choice I make and how that affects we, and coming back to this thing of this whole progressive thing of choice and what Kizzy and I were talking about earlier before we even started this, we're fucking tired with all of the empowerment, with all of the self-development, with all the new age. And I have said for ages now, it's all just been a stage. The self-development is about to cave again. It's about to be a bygone again, because we're now realizing that new age, we're exhausted with so much choice. We're moving through into the trilogy of returning to naturalness with awareness.
Mm.
And that leads with we. And I've kind of, like you were talking about progressive Mormonism here and choice, and I think the ultimate irony of this conversation about how we get more recognition for going after a career and playing in the man's world is that the most humble way to truly live with we at the forefront is to deeply penetrate I over and over and over again. Because it's to enter the suffering of I. We want all this power, but we've created this whole society of trying to be seen because we still won't see ourselves. And so when I got on here and I'm crying, Kids is like, Penny, for your thoughts, what's alive? I hear you. I'm listening. Like, I'm here. What if that was what we invited back into mothering, into relationship, instead of running, instead of trying to find credit and recognition outside society? What if we brought that to ourselves, to our families, like to ourselves, maybe even more so? If I said that to you right now, Keith, if I said, I'm here,
Mm.
I hear you, I'm listening, what would your heart share?
Just like the thing that I'm wrestling with, and we're moving through it, the purpose key in our partnership program, and my sphere is my shadow is distraction. And my heart is moving through. It's like if just where I want to distract from, like, and just think about the next thing, the next business idea, the next. But I am tired, and my mind is tired, and I'm tired of being so hyper vigilant and controlling. We're moving house right now, so there's boxes, there's boxes everywhere, and I'm just like, I know I have taught myself how to manage everything because of what happened to me and my circumstances. I was like, I know how to do things. I have to have my mind on everything to make sure all of the boxes gets crossed. So like moving house is so hyper for me because I'm like, we can't take this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna make, I'm less like hyper focus, probably why I'm fucking tired. Um, so my heart is like, I'm I'm tired of like trying to wrestle with this part of me that's like like I've invested and learnt so much and spent so much, and I'm fucking amazing. And it's like my heart's like that motherhood is not worthy of that. Like, is all my accolades going to be she was a great mum? This is just the
Mm-hmm.
stories. Is like, is that all she was going to be? Like, she was a great mum. And why do I find so much shame in that? And when I used to do so many women's hair, a lot of them were at the age where their children were leaving the home. And I used to think, "Oh, they're making a big deal about nothing." And now I'm like, oh my God, when my kids leave, I am going to be just, an absolute mess because I'm like, you pour so much into them. And your only job is to continue to let go of them and, to build them up to go out into the world and It's such, as you said, an invisible role because I'm not getting, I just pour meeting my own suffering because when I'm not meeting my own suffering, it shows up so painfully in my relationship with my kids. If I'm not clearing myself and meeting myself, then it's just like, my kids are just being, if I can't just sit and, not only, like they're just feeding off me. So if they're crying, I'm just like, I'm not just saying I see you, I feel you to them. I'm saying it to me because that requires my system to actually drop in with them. And I hate not knowing. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate that and at this play group this morning, a woman, it was a church play group. She's like, God's got a plan for you. She's like, you just got to let it go. And I was just like, I feel that this trusting in the complete unknown. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the rawness of that again. Like I feel the emotion again of that. It's just such an undermined space to be,
Yeah.
just like motherhood, with not knowing. You say to a person that you don't know, that you don't have a plan for your life, that you haven't got some big, bright, and shiny story and performance for how it's going to all look for them. They will think, what do people think? Like when you just said I hate that there's so much shame there. I'm like, I get it though,
Yeah.
because it's been so conditioned and taught into us
Yeah.
that it's shameful to not have a performance available and ready and scripted
Yeah.
for someone.
Yeah. And I think so much of the work that you and I do and have done with women is allowing the naturalness to actually emerge, which is, why we're choosing the path of homeschooling, we're choosing the path of unschooling ourselves, is to not only decondition our current belief systems and our family belief systems, but also come into a deep silence of what does God and spirit want for us.
From the purity of our being,
Mm.
not the construct.
No. And this is like when we open our hearts and we look at the suffering, it's like where our actual, this is Gene Keys, where our prosperity actually opens. I try to wrestle with the like, oh, okay, well, how are we going to make the money? How are we going to get the wealth? And it's like, stop asking the how. We need to stop asking the how and just listen and wait for the next step and trust ourselves, be courageous, be okay with messing up and not getting it right. And we just don't know. But when we're not in the silence and meeting the silence regularly, we can't listen. Mhm.
I said, yep.
Yeah. So to wrap this up, I think that, yeah, progressive feminism, potentially is having a cause on our happiness as women. Being in a man's world, we don't know the answers, but yeah, yeah,
I meant to find the bit about it, but I can't find it. Yeah, it feels complete to me.
Cool.
It feels complete.
Well, if you've loved this, we would love to hear a message from you, and we're just trusting whoever needs to listen to this can hear this. And thanks for showing up. And yeah, I'd love to hear your takeaways in a DM or yeah. Well,